and today I'll show you how to build a shower pan using dry pack mix. Hope you enjoy it. Before building the shower pan, there's a few things that you want to take care of first. First, you want to protect your strainer from either scratching it or anything falling into it. So you want to use your whatever the tape you want to use, like green frog, blue tape, any tape you want. Just cover the openings in it on the entire surface of the drain, so that way you won't scratch the strainer and nothing falls into it. Once you cover the entire drain with the tape, you want to use a utility knife and just trim any excess tape. Now I will show you how to set the drain height for your shower pan. The maximum extended height of that all-to-the shower drain is 2 inches. That means that your shower pan and your shower floor tiles, including mortar, cannot be thicker than 2 inches in order for that drain to screw into that shower base that holds your shower pan liner. Usually I set the drain 1.5 inches above that shower base, and that gives me about 1/2 inch room for the tiles and adhesive. Once I set the drain height, then I use a small pebbles to protect the weep holes from getting clogged. Basically, you just want to use a small pebbles and just spread them around the shower base, and this will protect the weep holes from getting clogged while you're building your shower pan. This is a very small step that a lot of contractors omit, but helps your shower pan to stay dry. Now I'll use a dry pack mixture and I'll pack it around the drain to protect the pebbles from shifting while I'm working on the pan. This is the first step that you want to take before dumping buckets of mortar on the liner. You just want to pack it nicely, forming kind of like a small anthill around it. Once that's done, we can dump a couple buckets of mortar into that liner. In the previous video, I showed you how to mix a dry pack using 4:1 sand and cement mixture. And today I will use the same mixture to build a shower pan. Now I will highlight some of the most important tools that you will need to build a shower pan. First, you'll need a set of levels. Some of them you will use to pack that mortar, and some of them you're only gonna use to check the level. Then you will need a set of rulers that are cut to different lengths. They will show you all the low and high spots on your shower pan. It's a lot harder to use a level for that purpose because the level is just too thick. You can buy them in the Home Depot. They come in a 48 inches length, and you can just cut them down with a grinder to desired lengths. I use like 12, 18, 24, 30 inches and 36 inches. So those are the most common ones. The very last thing that you will need to build that shower pan is a set of magnesium trowels. The standard length of the magnesium trowel is 16 inches, but you will also need another one that is a few inches shorter, because you're not always going to have a 16 inches room from the drain to the wall. That way you have to make it a little bit smaller. Best way is to cut it down to 13 inches using a just regular grinder. Just make sure you smooth out the edges so you won't cut the liner later. When I mix the mortar, I'll mix all of it at the same time, and that will help me control the consistency of it. It's not easy to mix a few 100 pounds of mortar in a bucket, but it's one of the better ways. In case you don't have the concrete mixer, you can use a plastic pan and a garden hoe to mix that mortar. Also, you can just dump it into a plastic bag and just toss it around, and you'll be able to mix it as well. The most important thing that your first and the last bucket has to have exactly the same consistency, otherwise the mortar will not stick together. The easiest way to tell if you mix your mortar properly is that every bucket should have the same color of the mortar. If you have more water in one of them, it will look a little bit darker. If there's less water in some of them, it will be a little bit lighter. So this is the easiest way to tell if you mix it properly. The dry pack mix is kind of like a snow. So if it's too dry, it won't stick together. And if it's too wet, water will just form on the surface when you're building a shower pan. Once you get the dry pack mix, you want to dump at least 3 buckets into your shower pan so you can start working on it. First, you want to spread most of it on your main wall. That means the longest wall away from you. And then the rest of it on the sides. Use your hands to spread even layer of mortar about 3 to 4 inches wide around your main wall. Then use the longest level that you have that fits your shower, or you can pre-cut the 2x4 for that purpose to gently pack the surface of that mortar. It will show you where you have to add more mortar and how level is your surface. In order for your pan to drain properly, you have to have at least 1/4 inch of slope per foot on your shower pan. That means if you place your 24-inch level on top of that mortar, you want to have at least 1/2 inch of slope on it. But keep in mind that your mortar is not fully compacted yet. So it would be better to have at least 3/4 inch or slightly more to begin with. This shower already has a pre-slope underneath the rubber liner. That means that our shower base already is perfect level and already has a slope to it. If you don't have the pre-slope underneath your shower pan liner, your shower pan will be a lot thicker versus if you do. That means if there's no pre-slope, your shower pan will be about 2.5 inches thick once it's done around the walls. If you do have a pre-slope, it will be about 1.5 inches. Once you check that your pan has enough slope to it, you can start compacting and smoothing out the surface around the main wall, and then slowly work your way to the sides. The most important thing to have a perfect shower pan is to have a level and smooth surface around the shower walls that gradually slope towards the drain without any dips and humps. If you have any humps, you can use a trowel to compact it down, or just use a ruler to scrape that unevenness. If you have a dip, you can just take some mortar and just sprinkle some mortar on top of it, and then use the trowel to smooth it out. So take your time and work that main area perfectly, because this will be a reference point to build and level the rest of the surface around the walls. Once you're done with the main wall, check again that you have enough slope on it towards the drain. If everything is perfect, you can repeat the same process to both sides of your shower by constantly checking for level, adding mortar, smoothing out the surface, and compacting it gradually. Building the shower pan requires a lot of patience and precision, because this is the foundation of your shower. So don't rush, take your time, but don't take breaks, because the mortar might become too dry before you finish. Also, once you mix your mortar, keep all the buckets inside your bathroom. Just don't leave them outside, because dry pack doesn't have a whole lot of water in it and it might be too dry before you're ready for it. And as you can see, all 4 sides are ready and they are perfectly level and smooth. This will make your shower wall installation a lot easier if you're starting from a level and smooth surface. Now I'll dump a few more buckets of mortar to fill in the middle part of that pan. At this point, the hardest and the most time-consuming part is behind us. So now we're just going to fill in the middle part and gradually build the slope towards the drain. Alright, the best practice is to dump at least 1 or 2 buckets at a time and just spread your mortar with your hands. That way you don't want to have too much in it because it will be harder to work with. So you just keep adding it gradually. Once you smooth out the surface, you can gently compact it by tapping the surface with the trowel or level. By tapping the surface of your pan, you will increase the density of the mortar, which will only make it a lot stronger. If you have to reach over to the other side of the shower, just use your trowel or just kind of rest your body on it, because otherwise you might create the dips. At this point, the different size loaders are more important because you want to check the slope from the wall to the drain, especially you want to avoid the low spots in the corner. If your corner is low, just use the loader, that one will reach the edge of the drain and the corner, and gently cut into the mortar. You can either use a trowel and just compact that area down, or just use a smaller ruler and just scrape it off that unevenness. You're going to repeat that process several times till you get the nice and smooth surface underneath your loader. The best way is to work on the one side of the shower and then finish it perfectly, and then move to the other side and just repeat the same process over again. Building shower pan this size usually take me anywhere between 2 and 3 hours, so just take your time, make sure you do it right, and then you don't have to worry about it ever again. The most important is always to have a gradual and smooth surface on your shower pan. That's why the rulers are so important, especially because you're gonna work with the smaller format tiles. So if you have any dips, it will show it and the water will just stays in there. So just be careful. Once you're done, your shower pan should look like this. So once you place that ruler on the surface, you will have a perfect smooth surface from the drain to any corner in your shower. And this is the most important part, because that way once you install your tiles, it will be like perfect smooth surface without any dips, humps, and the water will drain perfectly. You want to make sure that the surface around the walls and your curb is also perfectly flat, so that way the water would not sit anywhere and everything works like it's supposed to. This will make your shower wall tile look so much better, because once you set the wall tile on top of the floor tiles, you will not have any gaps in between them. It will be just like one smooth surface. Because if you have a low spot, you're gonna have a gap in between the shower floor and the wall tiles. So keep in mind, just you don't wanna have any low spots around your shower walls and the curb. Once you're done with your pan, you can use a damp sponge and basically glide it gently over the surface. That will knock off any little particles of mortar from it, and it will smooth out the entire surface. The very last step when you're building your shower pan, once you're done with everything, is you gotta make sure you're gonna unscrew that shower drain. You have to unscrew it so it's above at least 1/4 inch above the shower floor. If you're gonna leave it in place, the mortar is gonna just dry and you won't be able to unscrew it the next day. Once the shower pan is nice and dry, I would use a liquid waterproofing membrane and I'll put the one coat of it all around the shower walls and the curb. This will protect from moisture being absorbed into the cement boards, and it will protect the liner from separating from the shower pan. Even if you use the blocks between the 2x4s or pack it with the mortar, this will prevent water from leaking in between the liner and the pan. Next step is to wrap the curb with the cement boards and waterproof it, and I covered in the details in the other video. Once the entire shower is ready for the tiles and the cement boards are installed and waterproof, I will use one solid piece of fiberglass mesh and I will coat it with the anti-fracture thin set, and this will give it extra strength to your shower pan and prevent any future cracking and anything happening to it. When I build the shower, I'll give my customer 5 years warranty on labor. That's why I will take a few extra steps to prevent any possible failures, especially when the homes these days are built so poorly. Once you coat that fiberglass mesh with the anti-fracture thin set, you want to use a damp sponge and just kind of glide it over the surface to smooth out any imperfections. If you're getting any problems with it, you can still use a brick rub on the next day when everything dries out. You can just rub the surface with it and it will knock off any imperfection and make it even nice and smoother. As a last step, I will waterproof that curb again. You have to keep in mind that you have to waterproof that curb several times to get the 100% waterproofing, and then you have to wait at least a day before you start installing tiles over it, because the waterproofing has to dry. Sometimes it might shrink if you put too much of that waterproofing on the one coat. It might actually shrink, so you still have to put at least 2 or 3 coats of waterproofing before it's 100% waterproof. I hope this video would help you visualize the entire process of building the shower pan, which is not an easy task to do, but with a little more patience you'll be able to do it without the problem. If you have any questions or comments, you can just write them below. If this video was helpful, just please like it, subscribe, and come back in the future. Thank you, and bye-bye.